Hi, this is Ravi Verma, and in this video we will discuss the topic winds. Dear students, what is the meaning of winds? Winds is a fast movement of air. So when air is moving very fastly, it is called winds. When the winds are moving much fastly, then they take the form of storms. And if the air is moving slowly, then it is breeze. And what is rain? It is the precipitation of water on the earth in the form of liquid water. So first of all, let's understand what is wind and means how the wind moves in coastal regions. So we will learn about the movement of winds in the coastal regions both during the day and night. So for example, if we talk about the movement of winds in the coastal region during the daytime when there is sunlight, what will happen that both the land and water will start receiving sunlight at the same time. But you will see that the soil or the land has a tendency of heating fastly or faster at a faster rate as compared to water. So when the land will receive sunlight, it will get warm up fastly as compared to the sea water. So there will be a point of time during the day when the ground gets heated up faster than the sea. So the land is warm at a particular point of time and the water is still cold because it is just absorbing the heat but a rate slower as compared to the land. So during the daytime, the land will be warm and water will be cold. Now, because the land is warm, the air over the land will be warm, and because of this, the air will move upwards. The warm air will move upwards due to expansion, right? So because of this movement of air, upward movement of air, a low pressure area will be created over the land. But over the sea water which is still cold, the air will be cold, and if the air is cold, it should be heavy and it should create a higher pressure area over the water. So because of this uneven heating of land and water, you will see that over the land during the day there is low pressure and over the water there is high pressure of air. So because of this, you will see that the air will move from over the ocean, over the sea to over the land, because air always moves from the region of high pressure to region of low pressure. Now during the night time the condition will be reversed. This is true that the land gets heated up faster. Land gets heated up faster as compared to the water of the ocean. The reverse is also true that when there is no sunlight, the land will get cooled down faster as compared to water. So there will be a point of time in the evening you will see that the land is cold. The land is cold means it has lower temperature as compared to water because water is still warm, because water is losing its heat energy uh, gradually or slowly as compared to the land. So the water is warm and land is cold. So due to this, the air over the land will be cold and will create a high pressure zone. While over the water, the air is still warm, so it should create a low pressure zone. And because of this, you will see that the air will start moving from high pressure zone that is over the land to low pressure zone that is over the water. So during the night time, the direction of the wind will get reversed. Students, there are certain other factors which affect the movement of winds. For example, the rotation of earth and the presence of mountain ranges on earth. A lot you have learned about winds in your geography subjects, right? Now, formation of clouds. So dear students, we are going to learn about the rain or precipitation and the formation of clouds. So dear students, what do you know about the clouds? You know that the clouds are a huge collection of water droplets. But from where does this water comes from, right? This we need to learn. So the water comes from the surface of earth. For example, during the daytime, when sunlight falls on the water bodies, the water gets heated up and it starts evaporating. E for evaporation. In the same way, you see that the green plants perform a process that is called transpiration, during which water is lost from the green parts of the plants in the form of water vapors, and this process is called transpiration. So dear students, here you can see that due to evaporation, which takes place due to the warming of the surface water, and due to certain activities of living organism, the water reaches into the air in the form of water vapors. So dear students, as you know that during the daytime, water vapors are mixing with the air, but air is hot and it starts rising upward. So when the air along with the water vapors start rising upward, what happens that both air and water vapor cool down, and during the cooling you will see that the water vapor which is in gaseous state converts into liquid water droplets. This process is called condensation. So the conversion of water vapor into the liquid form will be called condensation. Here it is written. Okay. Now the condensation is speed up by the presence of particulate matter in the air. You know that there are two types of particulate matter. One is the dust and the other is smoke. So the particles of smoke and dust are there in the air. What happens when the water vapors rise up, and when the water vapor come in contact with certain particle, that may be either of dust or smoke. Okay, so when the water vapor come in contact with the dust particle, their condensation speeds up. So they start condensing around the dust particle and get deposited around the dust particle in the form of liquid water. So you will see that a very tiny droplet of water is formed, which has a dust particle in the form of a nucleus. So we can say that the dust particles act as nucleus for the process of condensation or for the formation of water droplet. So as you know that there will be a very large number of dust particles, right? A very huge number of water droplets will be formed. Most of the droplets will be having some solid particle at the center of them, right? So this huge collection of water droplets will be called a cloud. This will be called a cloud. Now with the passage of time, you will see that the droplets will become heavy due to further condensation of water. So when the droplets become very much heavy, they start falling down on the earth in the form of liquid droplets. Then it is called rain. But if the temperature of the cloud and temperature of the whole atmosphere is very less, then the water droplets freeze and they fall in the form of snow. This is called snowfall. So both rain and snowfall are called precipitation. Both rain and snowfall are called precipitation. So once you have learned about how does rain take place, how snowfall takes place, you know that snowfall is the fall of water in the form of solidified, means ice, right? That is called snowfall. And the other form is the rain, in which water is falling in the form of liquid. Okay, now let's discuss about air pollution. So dear students, air pollution is such a state in which the physical or biological or chemical properties of the air change in such a manner that the air becomes very unfit, or we can say very harmful for the living organisms and the physical properties, right? Then the air is called to be polluted. This state is called air pollution. Now dear students, air pollution is caused due to the mixing of some harmful substances. These harmful substances are called pollutants. What are the pollutants? The pollutants are carbon monoxide, then oxides of nitrogen, oxides of sulfur like SO2, SO3, and CFC, and there may be a few more names can be taken here which are called pollutants. The dust particles and the smoke is also a type of pollutant, right? So they are called particulate matter. They are called particulate matter. Okay, PMs. Okay. So these are the pollutants. These all are harmful in one or the other way to the living organisms or to the physical or abiotic components of the environment. Now, dear students, from where do these things come from and mix with the air? Those are called the sources of air pollution or causes of air pollution. So the source of pollutants from where the carbon monoxide and oxides of sulfur and nitrogen, dust particles, CFCs, these are coming. The sources of air pollution are listed here. So let's learn about them. First of all, this is the burning of fossil fuel. Now burning of fossil fuel, first of all we need to understand that the fossil fuels are the petrol, the diesel, the coal. These are called fossil fuels. Okay, so when these are burnt, a large amount of air pollutants is produced. These are burnt in industries, which also include thermal power plants, and they are also burnt in vehicles. So the largest burning of fossil fuels takes place either in industries or in vehicles. So during the burning of fossil fuels, these all air pollutants are produced. The carbon monoxide, the oxides of nitrogen, the oxides of sulfur, and some certain smoke particles are also produced. These all are the harmful pollutants which are produced during the burning of fossil fuels, and they have different effects on living organisms. Now exhaust from industry has the same kind of thing. It will be having a large amount of carbon monoxide, right? And certain other gases, like as I have told you, the oxides of oxygen and oxides of nitrogen and sulfur, right? A large amount of carbon dioxide is also produced. However, carbon dioxide is not taken as a air pollutant, a very harmful air pollutant, because it is utilized by the plants for photosynthesis, and up to the concentration that is 0.04%. Up to this concentration or 0.03%, this concentration is not harmful or not pollution, not a cause of pollution, right? But if the concentration of carbon dioxide will increase very high, right, then it will act like a pollutant because it will cause global warming. Now during the mining activities also, a number of chemicals are released into the air. During the indoor activities like cleaning agents, use of paints, during this process also, during their use also, a number of chemicals are released into the air. Suspended particulate matter, you all know that during incomplete combustion a large amount of smoke is produced, right? So that is a particulate matter. The dust is also a particulate matter, and they cause a number of problems to the lungs. Now the sources of air pollution have been shown here. You can see that the most of the air pollutants are released by industry, which also include thermal power plants in which coal is burnt. Then transportation, that is vehicles, they are the second largest sources of air pollution. Then a few more things which cause air pollution. Okay, now what are the effects of air pollution? First of all, the acid rain. Dear students, acid rain is due to the oxides of nitrogen and oxides of sulfur. When nitrogen oxides react with H2O, right, then for example, oxides of nitrogen reacting with water, they will produce an acid that is called a nitric acid or nitrous acid. It may be HNO3, right? HNO3, or oxides of sulfur like SO2 and SO3, they give two acids. One may be sulfurous acid or the other may be sulfuric acid, H2SO4. This we have already studied. Both of them we have already studied in class 8th. So in the air Due to the presence of oxides of sulfur and nitrogen, acids are formed. These acids, along with the rain, come down to the earth and they cause a number of problems to the living organisms like plants, animals, and to the properties like cars and buildings also. Here you can see this is an image which is showing the bad effect of acid rain. Here you can see nitrogen and sulfur oxides, they are reacting with water, converting into acid. The acid is coming down to the buildings, the cars and vehicles, the grounds, the water bodies, and everywhere they are causing a number of problems. You know that the color becomes fade, the paint becomes fade, right? This is all due to acid rain. Now, harmful diseases, a number of diseases are caused by air pollution. These may be skin diseases, eye diseases, also the lung diseases. A large number of pneumonia cases are due to the air pollution. There is a decrease in visibility, because of which there are a number of accidents. These may be either on rail accidents, or they may be the four-wheeler or two-wheeler accidents, road accidents, right? Global warming, this is due to increase in carbon dioxide concentration. When carbon dioxide concentration in the air increases, it increases the greenhouse effect, and due to the increase of greenhouse effect there is global warming, which is the increase in average temperature of the earth. Now, ozone layer depletion, dear students, as you know that around the earth around the earth there is a layer in the stratosphere of the atmosphere, right? That is called ozone layer. Means there is a thick layer of ozone gas. This ozone layer protects the earth from harmful ultraviolet radiations. It does not allow the ultraviolet radiations to enter into the earth's troposphere, right? So this is how the living organisms are protected from ultraviolet radiations, because ultraviolet radiations are very much harmful and they may cause a number of diseases, cancers, and they may even kill you, right? So these are the effects of air pollution. In the next video we will discuss about water pollution. So please prepare your notes, learn the topics properly. Thank you for watching the video.